Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omni video. In today's video, we're going to talk about if you should pull on Aranea FR. So basically on this banner, we're going to get Aranea's FR. She's the last C90 character to come out, so we'll have all the C90s done. I mean, they rush through those pretty dang quick. It's pretty crazy. The significant thing about the last C90 dropping means less Ultima cores, because those Ultima weapon cores, a lot of them come from awakening your C90s and then doing the Lufenia quest with them, right? So expect those to slow down a little bit. I think on JP they've had come up with other ways to get them, but you know, at this point, you know, for me, someone who's at premium mobcast, I've got like 5 full Ultima weapons now. Obviously, a free-to-play player is gonna have way less than that, but yeah, that's the unfortunate part about C90s. But I would assume whenever they come out with C100, they'd maybe do the same thing and add more Ultima cores. I'm not sure, though. C100s haven't come out yet. But anyways, I'm getting off topic already. So we want to find out, should we summon on this banner? So I'm going to talk about these 3 characters. So Celis BT will be along the way. So one incentive would be is if you're still chasing Celis BT, that's always an incentive. But I'm going to explain these 3 characters and what they do kind of briefly, and then tell you if I think you should pull on them or not. So Cait Sith is a very much like a battery support character. The big thing with Cait Sith is that he basically enables critical damage for your party. That's like the big thing that Cait Sith does, right? Cait Sith is not by any means like the craziest support character in the game right now. There are a lot better supports you can run, so I definitely don't think Cait Sith is like a main prize that you should be gunning for here, right? Fran, I think, is kind of interesting. She has a very good debuff called Vera's Punishment. So a couple of things with her. She has this Vera's Punishment, and she also has ranged resist to down, so she imperils for range damage, which is pretty rare. So if you really like doing range team comps, I mean, having that range imperil could be good. But once again, there's so much elemental imperil enchant that like doesn't really matter necessarily, right? But the big thing is she carries this Vera's Punishment debuff, which basically it's one debuff slot, but it has like a ton of stuff inside of it, essentially. I think it does like 6 or 7 debuffs within that one debuff, so that's pretty good, right? And I believe one of those includes an HP damage up, which is really, really awesome, right? The thing with Fran and Cait Sith is they're solid characters, right? But they're hard characters to find places for on teams right now with like where the meta is. The thing, though, that is significant, I would say, about Fran and Cait Sith is their calls are actually very good. Like, they have 2 very good calls that I use quite a bit. Cait Sith's call basically allows the team to do, like, guaranteed critical damage, and it increases your damage, like, quite a bit. So it is a very good one to help you with your damage and output better numbers. So that's a good one. And then Fran, because you get that Vera's Punishment on demand, and it's just a really good debuff you can throw down, right? So usually if I'm looking for like calls to debuff my enemies to help me do more damage, usually my go-to is like Kurasame, and then my next one is Fran. It's like Kurasame, Fran. Those are usually like the 2 that I drop down, right? She's not like the best call in the world, because I think honestly Raijin might be the best call in the game, to be honest. Like, Raijin's call is crazy. But Fran is a very good like debuff call that helps you do more damage. So I do like that, right? But in terms of in the party, I very rarely use these characters in the party. So definitely don't be summoning on this banner just to get those. Now, when talking about Aranea, who's like kind of the highlight character here, right? For those of you unfamiliar with Aranea, she's basically a damage dealer, and she basically does re-break on every single attack she does, like, no matter what. It comes from her LD buff, I believe. Her LD buff makes it so any button she presses breaks an enemy. And then she also has the mechanic where she breaks, she gets free turns. So Aranea's gimmick is that she doesn't do as much damage on a singular turn than other DPS characters, but I think the idea is that, you know, she gets a lot of free turns, and so if you combine the damage between her free turns, it's actually a comparable amount of damage. And Aranea, when she first dropped, was like the most busted character in the game, right? The meta and the game state is totally different, right? Because back when Aranea first dropped, just like Brave HP AoE damage was actually just in itself rare, and she did a lot of damage, and she did it on her HP plus, which that was back in the day where like skill use would run out, and here's a character who's just doing HP plus attacks or just annihilating the field, right? So back then, just having a strong AoE DPS character, even being very generic, was just super good, right? In today's game, it's a bit different. So the Force era, I would say, is not a good era for Aranea, and the reason why is because in Force time, you would rather have a character that's doing a lot more HP dumps on singular attacks than a character like Aranea, who her damage is comparable, but she needs to use her free turns to get to that comparable state. And in a force time, you don't want to use up 2 of your force turns to get the same amount of damage that, say, like Tifa could get in 1. So that's the bad part. Like, in terms of, like, actual turn count, Aranea is fine. But when you're in an era that, like, you want to just get the biggest force damage possible, Aranea actually anti-synergizes with the force mechanic itself. And that's really her big downfall right now, because even if you're using her own force time, yeah, she's going to tick all the buttons for it. The thing with her force, it's a very easy one to tick with any character. Because I think it's just critical damage and then delaying an enemy, and delaying an enemy includes breaking. So you can just run her with any characters that either just flat out delay or have re-break in their kit. Or you throw down a Sephiroth BT and your whole team is just breaking every single turn, right? So there's definitely like ways to use her FR well. The problem is like Aranea isn't the best damage dealer in the game right now, and you would rather just use Tifa or Rinoa, right? Like, so there really isn't a strong place for Aranea because she's not going to be your number one choice for DPS, right? And so if she's not your number one choice for DPS, you're going to run her along with another DPS, and then she's basically eating up like a support utility slot, right? Now, her breaking is definitely good, but let's say I'm trying to run her with like Tifa, right? Well, Tifa is going to be my main character I want to focus the force time on. Now, if I'm outside of Tifa's burst and maybe I don't have a way to steal turns, what's going to happen is Aranea is going to take a turn at some point, and she cannot avoid stealing turns. She cannot avoid breaking. So that can actually be a bad thing, right? So like Aranea, you can't use with defense comps because like her gimmick is she's going to delay no matter what. Because any button she presses with her LD buff, she has to break. Like, she cannot choose not to do it. If you're going to pass her turn, she's going to be doing it with breaking. So you're either constantly trying to break reverse turn order, but the problem too is Aranea has AoE damage for a lot of her attacks, so she's going to be breaking the whole enemy group, and she's unbreaking, like with everything. Like, it's all breaking. Now, in a no-turn comp, she's great, right? Because you're running... Sorry, my phone just went to sleep there because I was just talking too much. But in a no-turn comp, she's great because you can delay, push back, and she's great for that. But even, once again, in those types of force times, she's going to be stealing turns, and she's typically not the main person you want doing the damage because other characters do more damage. Now, if you don't care about meta, and you just like Aranea is fine. Like, she's a good character. That's kind of like the game state we're in. Any character is good if you invest in them. You hear us YouTubers say that all the time, right? So the purpose of a should you pull is to say, how should you pull on this character for meta relevancy? That's really the way that I come from it. And the way I come from it in terms of recommendations is I look at it from players that don't have a lot of resources, or they're new players, or whatever, and how to get the best bang for your buck with your gems. In my opinion, this is not the banner that's going to give you the best bang for your buck, right? Unless you're literally like just brand new and you like literally have nothing, sure, this can be a great starter banner to get you going. Aranea can serve as your primary DPS. Cait Sith is a serviceable support. Fran is there for some debuff utility. Sure, this team can get you through some stuff. But in terms of meta relevancy, it's Tifa, Rinoa, Core, Lunafreya. Like, that's Selfie. That's the kind of stuff you want to be running, right? So for those of you just wondering, well, what's the next big must-summon banner? It's going to be Jack Garland. He's going to be the next big Oompa Loompa DPS, like, ridiculous character that comes out. So that's really what you should be gunning for if you're someone that's, like, desperately trying to save. So my overall recommendation is just to skip this. And I love Aranea, and I think I've got mine blue armor. And I think I'm going to skip her FR. I've got plenty of FRs. Like, I don't need her FR. She's going to be a great just C90 character without her FR, right? Like, you don't have to have her FR. The thing that's awesome for, like, more veteran players, if you've got your... Well, I just said blue armor, but she actually doesn't have blue armor. You can see it right there. But I did plus her armor. She's a character that I feel like I wanted to blue because I really like her. But ever since her first, like, huge drop, like, she's just kind of been, like, okay, like, in the middle, right? So I wasn't really incentivized to blue her, and I haven't used her a ton. We'll definitely try her out with her C90 and see how she's looking. We'll definitely get a character guide out on her. But yeah, I would say skip this banner if you're desperate for materials and you're out. But obviously, if you like her and she's a favorite, definitely go for it. She's going to be doing good damage, right? She's not bad. It's just in terms of top tier meta, other stuff coming. And like I said, she does anti-synergize with Force a little bit. So you just got to be careful of that. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Let me know if you're going to pull. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.